Everybody's talking about ChatGPT, but can we use ChatGPT to help our work as geologists? Hello, my name is Ricardo Valls. I'm the founder of Value Consultant and the creator of the series Golden Droplets. In today's episode, Golden Droplets number 55, I will be exploring some ways that we could use ChatGPT to help our work. So, once again, Golden Droplets episode number 55. Joy. Well, I have here several examples of ways that we can use ChatGPT in geology. Don't worry, I will put this document online, and I also will put it right here at the bottom of the YouTube video. So, one of the ways that we can use GPT is to provide geological definitions and explanations. ChatGPT can help geologists understand geological concepts and terminology by providing definitions and explanations. Geologists can ask GPT to define geological terms or provide explanation for geological phenomena. Let's say, for example, that you are reading a very old text of geology and you find the word geosynclinal. What is that? Well, you can just let's copy this and we go to our ChatGPT, and I am assuming that you already have installed chatOpenAI.com. The first time you do this, you're going to need to register with your Google account or with an email. Usually takes around a day to get the link, and after that, you are off to the races. So let's type here. Find geosynclinal and press enter. And here you will see not only a description and explanation of what geosynclinal is, but also, this is more important, with citations, okay, that you can use to further develop your study. So to know the citations, you just go here, see, these are the citations. Okay, another example. Please explain plate tectonics. We can ask the computer to behave like someone, like a geologist, like a professor. So you can say, act as a geologist, explain plate tectonics to the first year student of geology. And it's giving you here the definition. Plate tectonic is a theory in geology that explains how the Earth's outermost layer, lithosphere, is broken into a number of large moving plates. Even for a first-year student, it's a very detailed explanation. One thing that I will take the opportunity to explain is that ChatGPT has a limit in the amount of text. It is called tokens. So you need to find Goldilocks place here. The more detailed the question you ask, the more words you will use. That will limit the amount of words that the system has to respond to you. So let's say you make a question that contains 2,000 tokens, you only will have a response with 3,000 tokens. So keep that into consideration. But also remember that you can continue to ask more and more. For example, I can ask here to give me some citations. So I will add some citations. I should have been more specific. I should have said add more citation to the previous definition. This is how you need to learn how to work with the program. So let me try again. Add more citations to the first definition of plated targets. Yeah, you can see it's starting to get some citations for you. So this is a way of using ChatGPT. Let's go back to our document. And this one is very interesting. You can use ChatGPT to identify rocks and minerals. And because you can have GPT on your phone, you can do this right in the field, if you have a connection, of course. So let's say that I have a rock. It's heavy, it's dark, it's magnetic, it has vacuoles filled with calcite. So I will just take this, copy, go back to my GPT, and I will ask to identify rock that is heavy, dark, magnetic, blah, blah, blah. We are thinking of a basalt, of course. So this is very interesting. He gave me a definition of probably this is a meteorite, which is true. It could be a meteorite. But if I don't like this response, I could always click here and regenerate response. And here it is. The rock in question may be a type of igneous rock called basalt, which is our case. We were in the field, we were not expecting to find meteorites, so this is the way the system works. Excellent. And again, it's giving us citations all the time. Let's see another example. Let's identify a mineral, okay? And this mineral has the following characteristics. It has a metallic luster, it's black color, it has a red streak, and hardness below 3. So when we ask this, it suggests hematite, which is actually the mineral that I was looking for. And it's an excellent tool. You have it on your phone. It will give you an idea where to look for. So let's see other things that we can do with ChatGPT. We can analyze geological data. ChatGPT can help geologists analyze geological data by answering questions or providing insight. Let's say, for example, this question here. Is there a relationship between the intensity of earthquakes and the formation of orogenic gold deposits? This could be like part of a thesis or an investigation that you're doing. So let's see what the system tells us. And it says that there is no clear relationship between the intensity of earthquakes and the formation of gold deposit. It gives us some citations. And one thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning, which is really, really interesting. You see down here, I have this line here, which is the web access. Originally, ChatGPT has information only up to the year 2021, I think. But if you install a Chrome application, which is called Web Access ChatGPT, it will add you the possibility of checking the website. So you can select how many websites you want to check, what time, what period, etc. And let's say that I would like to change this. I'm going to look for more results. And I am interested only in the past year and work done in, I don't know, Australia. Okay. and I will click regenerate the response. So here we are getting a much detailed response associating the existence of earthquake with faults and the relationship between faults and ore deposit. And as you know, probably there is an idea of how lode gold deposit or orogenic type of gold deposit are related to the earthquake in the sense that they create faults. And you can always say that that answer was better, worse, or the same. For me, it was better. I will click that because this helps ChatGPT to become a better system for you. Going back to our question, let's say that you would like to know what kind of ore deposit can be found in a specific tectonic environment. Okay, so we go here, and there it is. Island art, the tectonic environment can host a variety of ore deposits, including but not limited to copper, gold, and tin deposit. Orogenic gold deposits are primarily hosted in metamorphic rock, in subduction-related accretionary or collisional terrains, with citations, etc. Let me also mention that there are some API that you can download and use Python to actually process or interpret geophysical data, geochemical data, do some geological, geomathematical processing, etc., etc. I'm just starting in this field, so more to come when I will be more knowledgeable on how to do these things. Expect a new video. So let's go now to our fourth use, recommending geological exploration sites. For example, ChatGPT can help geologists find potential sites for geological exploration by analyzing geological maps and data. Geologists can ask ChatGPT to recommend areas that may have mineral deposit or geological feature of interest. For example, I'm going to ask the ChatGPT if there are any interesting geological features in a 30-kilometer radius of Toronto. So maybe I want to go and see something interesting nearby. And it says that in a 30-kilometer radius of Toronto, there are several interesting things. It explains where it's located, the geological features that we can find, caves, sinkholes, with citations. And there you have it. It will give you websites and citations and locations that you can go and do your stuff. Now, let's say that I am interested in diamond deposits, okay? And in order to learn about it, I would like to visit diamond deposit. Where should I go? If I have plenty of money and all the time in the world, of course. So you say, if you're interested in studying diamond deposits, there are several options available to you. Why don't you enroll to university? And you may consider visiting the regions of the world that known for their deposit. Russia, of course, we cannot go to Russia at this moment. Botswana. And remember that you can always ask for more information. Like, for example, tell me more about the Russian diamond deposits. And you get, again, a response with citations, etc. Again, let's dig deeper. Let's ask about diamonds in Canada. Where can I find diamonds in Canada? I can click here to stop generating. Okay. And it says that Canada is one of the largest producers of diamond in the world, which is true. Where are they located? Again, with citations, etc. So as you can see, a wonderful source of information. And you can always ask for more or regenerate the answer. Okay, I will let it work there. And we go and see what else we can do with ChatGPT. So we can generate geological reports. This is amazing. ChatGPT can help geologists generate geological reports by providing templates and suggestions. Geologists can ask ChatGPT to help them structure their reports or providing suggestions for content based on the data they have collected. For example, let's say I'm doing a 4311 in an area in Jamaica and I need some information for the chapter, the item of regional geology. So I can ask help from ChatGPT like this. Say generate a report of the regional geology of Jamaica. I didn't add citations because, as you see, I already used citations before. The system remembers that I wanted citations. So it will give me not only the geological explanation, but also citations, etc. I can even ask to be more detailed or to, for example, I could have asked a minimum number of words and the system will try to comply with that. Okay. It doesn't do the job for you entirely, but it gives you a first step. And you can use this to increase, to develop the work. Okay. Now, let's see this example. This is more of the use of artificial intelligence. Let's say this is the question I'm going to pose to ChatGPT. And the question is, suppose that we have to study an area of 100 square kilometers with elevation varying between 1,000 and 3,000 meters above the sea level. The area is in the tropics, so there is plenty of water and vegetation. Suggest the cheapest exploration program to test the presence of gold in the area. So he is recommended to have a very good topographic control, like LIDAR, etc. Various methods for exploring include geological mapping, soil sampling, rock sampling, geophysical survey, and drilling. Again, it's giving you several ideas about how to approach your exploration. Very detailed. And it's plain safe saying that it's not possible to specifically provide an exploration program. This is how you can do it. And again, remember, you can always regenerate the response to see what else can come up with. So this is really interesting. Now, you probably know that there is a program called DeepL, DEEPL, which is an excellent translator. Okay, there is also Google, the Google translation works very well. ChatGPT also can give you good translations. So let's say that I have here a text, okay, about Nigeria geology, and I'm going to ChatGPT to translate this. So let's copy, come back here. And we say translate this text to French. Column indicates to the program that the text that follows is the one that needs to be translated, or whatever. And this is what I got the first time. Two is suggesting me to use Google Translate or DeepL that provides much better work. Now it's telling me the same thing. So it doesn't work well for translation. DeepL and Google Translate will do a much better job. Sometimes I have tested this, okay, and it have given me the translation even into Russian. So just try it. Another wonderful possibility is that ChatGPT will summarize the content of a text or of a link. Okay, let's say, for example, you all know the book Mineralogy, Rick House. Copy. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to tell me what are the main topics covered in Krauss' book Mineralogy. And there you have it. It also gives you links to where you can get the book, etc. So it's a very nice thing to summarize. Now, let's say that you have a big text, technical, like that you don't know what is being said there. So you copy the text, okay, and you put it here, and you add at the end this thing, DL, semicolon, DR. So go at the end, this very complex text, and we just add DL, semicolon, DR. And that is an instruction to summarize the content of this text that was really complex about multiple language models, and it will summarize it in a more digestible way. And remember, you can continue to ask more. You can say, well, explain this to a sixth grader, and it will try to make it even simpler. You can also summarize the text from a link, okay? Now we'll ask the machine, can you summarize the links, the main points of the page, okay? So again, I go back here. And I will ask ChatGPT, can you summarize the main points of the information in the following link? See the column? It means for the machine, it's instruction that the next information is the source. So click. So it's a link about rubies, and it will give you the main points of the web page. This will save you a lot of time, because then you will decide, okay, this is an article that I may be interested in reading, or no, this is just selling points, and I'm not interested in that. Okay? So I believe that you can see how useful is ChatGPT for geologists. Okay. Now, we can use it for, and this is very useful if you're doing a paper or any type of technical presentation, you need a reference. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to find me references about the regional geology of Peru that are not older than the year 2000. Here you will have your information, again, with citations, etc., etc. And lastly, general information. This is something that I use all the time, because you're working and suddenly you have a question, oh, how many tons of gold were produced last year in the whole world? Okay, I can just wrap the question. How many tons of gold were produced last year in the world? And notice I said last year, I can ask that because I have the web access. Okay, and then I will put any time, just to make sure that it will get everything that I need, and I will put any region of the world. Okay, Now, enter. And there it was. It was 332 tons produced globally. China was the largest producer. The production was increased since 2015, etc., etc., etc. Another quick question. What was the average gold value in 1999? Let's say that we are, and this is something we use all the time when we are trying to figure out the cutoff value of the deposit. We need to know the gold values at certain point. So you have the answer there, $279 per troy ounce in US dollars. Okay, very good. And the last one, I talk about the cutoff. Let's say that I want to ask ChatGPT, please help me. I need to determine the cutoff value for gold resource estimation. And here you have it. It's giving you an explanation of the different methods, how to do it, etc., etc. So that's it. These are 10 ways that you can use ChatGPT to help your work. I am continuing exploring this system. It's amazing, the information that you can get. So probably I will have an upgrade of these programs very soon. Until then, thank you for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe and to like if you like it. Tell your friends about it. And I'll see you in Golden Droplets episode number 56. Have a great day.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.